welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you out to the shed of many names on this cold day. And here in the South, when it starts turning cold, we older folks, we get in the kitchen and start cooking to warm the house up. That's just like our ancestors used to do. This time I'm heating up the shed and the house. Today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take you step through step of how I cook, pull, and then pressure can pulled pork. Now down here in the South, we take our pulled pork very seriously. No buts about it. Now, I don't know how many people watched my clearance shopping at Restaurant Depot video, but if you did, you saw that big 74-pound box of butts. Well, this is one package that was in there. Each package contained 2 butts, and there was 4 of them in there, 4 packages. So for 89 cents a pound, I got 74 pounds of butts. Now, of course, there was some bone in them, but that's okay. That just gives the meat some flavor. But for 89 cents a pound, 8 butts, this old girl going to be busy for a while. I have 2 in the oven going, and I'm fixing to put 2 in my electric roaster. And let's get started. Now, I have already washed very well these butts. Now, most people want to take the fat off. For the love of God, don't take your fat off. That's what keeps your meat moist. It's going to soak on down through your meat and down into the bottom of your pan. Now, what I do is I go through and I'll poke a bunch of holes because I'm going to season the top of this fat. And as the fat renders down into the meat, yeah, baby, it's going to take that seasoning right down in it. Now, I'm not going to season it a whole lot because once I get it pulled, that's when I do my heavy seasoning and get it ready for canning. Just poke a bunch of holes. I was not expecting to see 8 butts in that box. Once I finally broke through the box, I tell you, opening that box was like trying to break into Fort Knox. Okay. Now, first off, like I said, I'm not going to be seasoning these very heavy. Well, according to some people, it's heavy, but I'm from the South. We like our food to be flavorful. And this is just onion powder. And of course, garlic powder. We don't do nothing small around here. Oh, it smells good already. Okay, forget this. My hands are washed. My hands are always clean. They might not look it, but they are. And like I said, it's going to go down into that meat as it cooks. And then, of course, I'm going to slap your mama. I want just a good enough layer of it. Oh, I wish y'all could smell this. It's not even cooking and it smells good already. And like I said, I'm not going to season it a whole lot just enough to give the meat some flavor, because after I get done cooking it and pulling it, that's when the flavor's going to start. Alright, I'm going to pause it so I can move the camera to show you. Now, for those who don't know, this is an electric roaster oven. Works on the same concept as your oven in your house. Now, if I was in the house, I would not be putting gloves on, but I'm outside in the shed and I don't have anywhere to wash my hands. And I'm not going to the water faucet to wash my hands off in this crazy weather. Oh, come here, baby. Look at that big, beautiful baby there. You want to be careful how you put it in. You want to try to keep it from touching the sides. I've got my rack in, that way it's not touching the bottom. And I'm hoping I can get both these babies in there. There we go. I'm just going to have to keep an eye on that. Don't let no seasoning go to waste. Now, of course, I'm going to also, on your gloves, make sure, for me, they have to be latex free, and you've got to make sure that they are powder free as well, because you do not want that powder on your food at all. Now, it has a little more water in it than I want it to, so I'm going to cut it up to 350 right now. I want some of that water to evaporate, so I'm going to leave my lid off a little bit. And once that water goes down, then I'm going to put the lid on it all the way, and I'm going to let this cook till it starts falling apart, and then it's done. Alright, I will bring you back during the cooking so you can see how it looks. See you here in a bit. Okay, on to another small part of this video, and so people know that yes, I do sanitize my work area every time I cook and get through. Before I start cooking, so those people are saying that, you know, I don't. Well, guess what? Oh, yes, I do. Okay. Now, for a small extra in this video, there are two kinds of people in the South. First off, let me back up a bit. Did you think I was going to cook all this pulled pork and not think about having a couple of sandwiches through the process? Oh yeah, we're going to have some pulled pork sandwiches for dinner tonight. Now, going back to what I was trying to say a while ago, there are two kinds of people in this world. People who love slaw on those sandwiches, on those pulled pork sandwiches, and those weird people who don't like slaw on their sandwiches. It's an old running joke in the South. So, since it's going to take a while for the pulled pork to get ready, that is plenty of time to get some coleslaw mixed up and let it set up. So, let's make some basic coleslaw. Let me get another, I got a knife right here. Alright, this is a pound bag of tricolor, they're calling it tricolor slaw now, which I die laughing. Honey child, this is just slaw mix. And yes, today I'm cheating. Good gracious. What's wrong with these people? That's just way too big for no slaw. be chopping that up some more. Well, that second bag was a whole lot better than that first bag. Of course, I like my slaw my cabbage cut a whole lot finer than this is. Now, of course, if you want to, please go ahead and cut your slaw and your carrots and everything up yourself. I'm just going to be ungodly busy today, so, yep, once in a while, I cheat. I like my slaw, just my cabbage and stuff to be just a little bit, about this fine. But I'll eat that chunky stuff too. It all eats. Like it or not, it does eat. Now, gotta have some onion in that. Believe it or not, I could not get a yellow onion in that store to save my life. None. So I'm going to go with some red onions. Now they did have some, I think they were supposed to have been something like a Vidalia with a really weird name. I'm going, no, I'm good. Not for that price they had on them things. They were proud of those onions. Get that bad spot off that onion. Tomorrow night I might even break down and make some pulled pork nachos as well. But one main goal is to get a whole bunch of jars filled. That's my first perspective. Alright, you. Ooh, that red onion is strong. They got a mind of their own, apparently. There's one. Ooh, to be red onions, these babies are strong. They've been in storage for a while. All right. Yep, no escapees. Get back here. over here out of the way. Even though I put onion in it, I want some more onion powder. Definitely want some garlic powder. I'm sorry folks, I'm old school. I don't measure. And slap your mama. Now this way I don't have to add any salt because salt's already in the slap your mama. Now I'm going to add some raw apple cider vinegar with the mother. And that'll help break down the coleslaw, the cabbage, carrots. It'll help break it all down. Now, I'm picky about my mayonnaise now. It's either going to be Hellmann's, Blue Plate, or what's the other one? Now, I don't use no Miracle Whip. I hate that crap. I don't like sweet. And it just, oh, it's nasty. But if that's what you like, go for it. But that's not what I use. And once in a while I'll use Walmart mayonnaise, which that's what I had to pick some up because, well, if you saw my fishing, my clearance fishing, hold on a second, my clearance fishing shopping fund, yep, well, the budget for Blue Plate or Hellmann's went down the drain. And I'm not going to add any more mayonnaise. That's going to be plenty. Because the mayonnaise and the vinegar is going to break down. It's going to break down and make a really good dressing. Now, if you like your coleslaw sweet, go for it. We don't. And what you're going to do is you can put some plastic, some saran wrap, cling wrap, whatever you got on top because you want to seal this. Or if you're really southern, you put a plate on top of it and stick it in the fridge. Because you want, I usually make my coleslaw at least the night before, if not longer. Because I like to let it set up and marinate really good. This time it's going to have probably about, by the time I get done pulling all the meat and everything, it's probably going to be about 5 hours later, so it's going to have about 5 hours to set up. Let's taste it. Oh my God, that's good. And just think it's only going to get better. Alright, let me get some paper towels. Oh, I just thought of something I forgot to put in it. And I still thankfully have time to do it. Totally forgot about these two. Yep, some people will call me weird. That won't hurt my feelings not one bit. That's a compliment. I like dried parsley. And just a little bit of dried oregano. Not much, just enough. I try to put parsley in as much as I can. I thought I saw an escapee. Because it helps with digestion. Alright. Now every hour or so, I'm going to go in there and give it a good stir. And simple, quick, fast coleslaw, because, yeah, it's pulled pork night. Now, this video is going to be over a 2-day period, so if you see me change clothes, you won't wonder what's going on, because I'm going to cook these 4 butts, pull them, and put them in the fridge, because I'm going to cook 3 more tomorrow, which I might just cook 2 more and save 2. No, I'm going to cook 3 more tomorrow and save 1, because I want to do some smoking. I didn't feel like dragging the smoker over here, but I probably will be later on this week. Alright, see you after a while when I show you how the butts are starting to look. The first 2 butts that were cooking inside in the oven are done. I had to appease a family member with an offering because he said he couldn't take the torture of smelling it any longer. And I gave a little bit of skin to Jana, who's patiently awaiting more. So I've let them cool down a little bit. And I pull my meat on a cookie sheet. So, look at these beautiful babies. Meat pulling forks. Absolutely love them. You can use them to pick up meat, pull meat. Found them on clearance of all places at Lowe's. I think I got them for $3 a pair. Because this is going to fall apart. Looks like it's supposed to. Now, it had way more juice than it does now. What I've done is I poured it out into a bowl so it can chill, and I can separate the fat, scoop the fat off of the top. That's what you want to see, is your pulled pork falling apart. Right now I'm just scooping most of what's left of the fat off the top. I want to try, it's pork, I'll never get it lean unless it's a pork loin, but as you can see, that top chunk of fat has melted and flavored this meat very well. And all I'm going to do is hold it with one fork and pull it with the other. You can tell I'm too used to using 2 regular size dinner forks. I got to get the hang of using these. I'm too old-fashioned and used to using forks. That's what you want to see. Not having to use much pressure at all. And your meat just pull apart. And that's scrap pile for Jana. So she won't give me any peace until I pay tribute to her. Because she's been working her mom and dad real hard to get to come outside and play and romp around and chase squirrels. And it's not working. So they keep telling her, no, it's too cold. And then she tries to work me. Which she should know by now, I ain't going nowhere. And I want to try to get all pieces, big pieces and little pieces of fat off as possible. I know Jana's not going to just get fat. She's going to have some meat too. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm too old-fashioned. I had to go get me 2 forks. I gotta get the hang of using those meat claws. But I saved, like I said, all the juice. You just gotta watch and pay attention to where the grain of the pork is and pull along with it. And I want to try to keep as much fat as possible out of the pulled pork. No matter how hard you try, there's still going to be some that gets in there. But you can make sure most of it don't. Like I said, it serves a purpose of giving the meat wonderful flavor. And I absolutely love doing pulled pork. And what I'll do is I'll continue to pull this other pork just like I've showed you. I just don't want you to sit through all of it. If it wasn't going to end up being such a long video, I would keep it rolling. But I've got the rest of these to pull. And then once these in the roaster gets done, then I have to pull them. And I will bring you back once I get everything pulled to show you how much 4 of the butts give me. I'll bring you back later on. Finally got those 4 butts pulled. And let me tell you, that was a job. I have this whole bowl full. And that's a blessing right there. Well, now, let me show you. That's how we do a pulled pork barbecue down here. Alright, you start out with really good buns. And these are onion poppy seed buns. Good flavorful meat. You want a good amount on that sandwich so you know you're actually eating some pulled pork. I'm just thankful to be done for the night. So tomorrow, since I have so much meat, I think I'm just going to can this up. Lay low until this next round of storms roll through, and I'll cook the rest of it up. Put the sandwich into the center. And I have some bullseye barbecue sauce left over from making the meatloaf. He wants his light. This turned out to be some really good barbecue sauce. And then we got the homemade slaw, which has turned out very nice. there is a good pulled pork sandwich. And I'll put this right in the bowl. And there is our dinner for tonight. I gotta get my mess cleaned up, get the stuff back in the fridge so I can get home and get him fed before he has to hit the road. I'll see you tomorrow. Everyone take care. Welcome back. It's the next day. I am ready to roll and get this pulled pork ready to be canned up. Now, let's see if it'll behave. There we go. Now what I done is I saved the cooking liquid from the 2 butts that was in here. And then once I was done pulling them, I put the container or the insert in the fridge, let it cool completely, and I skimmed off all the heavy fat. It will gel up where you can scoop it completely off and you'll be left with the juices. Yes, there'll still be a little fat in it, but nothing like it was. Now the 2 butts, see, this is what you'll be left with when it cools down. And I skimmed the fat off of that. And I'm going to add that flavor right back into this pot. And see, you can see the heavy fat that's around the side. The whole top was covered in that. But I made sure to get that all out. And I have 4 very small onions, red onions sliced up to give it flavor. No, I will not be taking those out. Now, I did pull aside some more pulled pork for a recipe later on, and I'll bring you along for that recipe as well. Because I'm not going to make all this pulled pork and not get some bonus out of it. And I've got my bowl. I still have a full bowl of pulled pork. Let me get me some gloves out. And like I said, latex free for me, and also make sure that it's powder free. And you're going to want to wear gloves because it's going to get messy. I know this isn't everybody's version of pulled pork, but it's going to be good. This is what you do to be able to can it. I want it to get heated up because I'm going to put some of the cooking liquid in each jar. I want my meat to heat up so it'll be easier to put in the jars. I'm hoping to get a full canner. I should be able to. The piece is trying to escape. That ain't happening. course, there'll be just a tad bit of the, see, that's what it looks like. Can't get all of it out, but you can sure try. Okay. Set my bowl back over there. Ooh, these gloves are greasy. And like I always say, make sure that your countertops are clean and sanitized, so are your hands. And now comes seasoning time. Love my liquid smoke. It's an easy way to cheat. Oh my gracious, it smells so good. And I'm using the hickory. You can use the mesquite if you want to. That's about the whole bottle. I'd say a whole bottle. And I'll have the extra seasonings listed in the description box below. About 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. And since I know those onions aren't enough, I'm going to add some onion powder. Probably about 2 tablespoons. Like I said, I don't measure, I just mix. And of course, it'll get easier to stir as it heats up. Oh, this smells amazing. Because as it heats up, that meat will loosen up and soak in the seasoning. Oh, but I'm not done seasoning it yet. Okay, let's put some slap your mama in here. As you can tell, I love this seasoning. And of course, it'll help give it some salt that it needs, not much. But it'll give it that salt. And since I've added the slap your mama, I'm not going to add any salt to the jars. And of course it looks not very appealing at the moment because it has completely cooled down. But that's okay. It's going to heat back up. And then that's when I'm going to taste it when it heats back up. And I'm going to reserve, I'm not going to put any barbecue sauce in here because I want to do that when we open the jar. And that way it'll be ready, once you heat it up, ready to eat. That way if I wanted to, I can use this for other things. Like what we're going to have tonight for dinner. barbecue nachos. Alright, I'm going to let this heat up. And once it comes up to temp, I will bring you back. See you here in a little bit. Okay, it is finally time to get to canning. Jarring up this wonderful pulled pork. Like I said, I'm not adding any sauce to it. It's good and hot. My jars are hot. My lids, I do not have to soak them, and I have my bands ready. You're definitely going to need a funnel, a debubbler, and a glass or a bowl of vinegar to wipe your rims, because you're dealing with a fatty substance. So you're going to definitely want to be able to make sure those rims are clean, or it will mess your seal up. And of course, you always want to test how it tastes. Oh my gracious. Yep, that's perfect. And now all you're going to do, let's see, can you see? Make sure you can see. There we go. And you're going to want a 1-inch head space. Perfect. Now, I have, my canner is heated up. And I have 2 inches in water in my canner and a big glug of vinegar. You want to make sure that rim is clean. Put your lid on, put your band on, just finger tight. Look at that, that's going to be beautiful. I'm going to do one more. And a pint jar holds right at a pound of meat. When things start getting really tight, a pound of meat for 2 people is plenty. And since I'm not putting sauce in this, and I already have sauce at home stocked up, this can be used, added to noodles. You can make nachos with it, soup with it, sandwiches. But that's plenty for 2 people to have a good meal. I'll put just a little bit more meat in that. You have to be careful, because that's just a little bit more can get you in trouble. Like I said, make sure you debubble. You don't want any air pockets at all. Yep, right on the money. And like I said, make sure, even though I've already cleaned it, I'm going to clean it again. Always double check. Always, before you even get ready to use your jars, make sure there's no cracks, no nicks. These are new jars. Check them anyway. And also check your lids. Balls getting notorious about sending out really bad lids. Well, I'm going to get busy canning up some more, and I'll bring you back as soon as I get done. See you here in a bit. Well, I almost got all my pork in those jars. I'm going to have to bag it up, freeze it, and when I get ready to do the other butts, I can add it to it. Now let's move over here to the stove and show you what I'm going to do. I was blessed to be able to get 15 pint jars in here. Now, unfortunately, wide mouth jars take up way more room than they should. Because regular pint jars, regular mouth pint jars, I can get 19 in. So, now, this is a 921 All-American. I don't have to use any rubber gaskets, any seals, or anything. All I have to do, and I've already done it, is olive oil my rim. Now I'm going to put, there's notches, and of course the notch is on the other side. So we're going to have to move this heavy thing around. Give me just a minute. Okay, that was heavy. Alright, I'm going to put my lid on this time. Alright, now what you're going to want to do is do opposite sides, barely snug. Barely snug. Barely snug. And then go back and tighten them down. I'm going to cut my flame up just a little bit. And I'm going to wait till she comes up to vent, and I will bring you back as soon as that happens. See you here in a little while. She has come up to temp and is venting. I'm going to let her vent for 10 minutes, and then I will bring you back and we'll put the weight on her. See you here in a little bit. Okay, she has been venting for 10 minutes. And now I'm going to put on my 10-pound weight, because that's what I'm supposed to use for my altitude. Now, if you have a local agricultural extension agency, they can tell you if you need to use a 5, a 10, or a 15-pound setting for your pressure canner. And now I'll wait for her to come up to 11 pounds of pressure. I'll bring you back here in just a little bit. She is now up to a steady 11 pounds of pressure, and I'm going to be pressure canning these pint jars for 75 minutes. Now, if you're using pint and a half or quart jars, you need to pressure can them for 90 minutes. I will see you back when 75 minutes is over with. She is done canning for 75 minutes. I'm going to cut my flame completely off. I'm not going to touch nothing. And I'm going to let her naturally depressurize down to 0 and wait about 30, 45 minutes before I unload it. I'll see you back then. Okay, it's time to get dinner number 2 going for the pulled pork. And Yes, I know it looks like a big container, but this is a travel container. Fixing to get ready to make some barbecue nachos. And it's not for one person, it's for 2 people and some leftovers. So, got my nacho chips ready, and I'll fix to take you over to the stove. Bring you right back. Okay, I have my skillet on low, and I got my pulled pork right here. I'll put it in that skillet and let it get good and warm. Well, good and hot, more like it. Okay, I'm going to put a lid on it. It's going to be a little dinky lid. Probably not going to fit it. But you know what? It'll work to help. Alright, now I'll bring you back when it's heated up. Now I seasoned my meat while it was heating up. I'll put some liquid smoke in there. Some more slap your mama. I'll put some garlic powder and some onion powder. And you just sprinkle your meat on top. And yes, we're going to have leftovers, which is fine with me. Make sure you get your meat. Now, of course, you can do this on a plate, no problem. The cheese sauce runs off a plate, and since I'm driving home, I want that cheese to stay all in there. Now I'm going to move you back over the stove because we got to mix up some cheese sauce. Okay, time to get the cheese sauce in the skillet. And yes, I'm cheating. I'm using nacho cheese sauce. And this one is actually made with real cheddar, not that Velveeta crap. I do not like Velveeta because it's not real cheese at all. Yeah, that's plenty of cheese. And you're going to want to stir this around, get it good and hot. And I'll bring you back once it's heated up. Okay, I got it good and heated up. And now we're going to just slowly drizzle it best we can over the meat. Another reason why I like to heat the cheese up after heating the meat in the same skillet is you pick up all those wonderful juices from the meat. And I figure there might be somebody out there who's never had barbecue nachos. usually put sour cream on mine, but since this is going for both of us, he doesn't like sour cream, so I will leave the sour cream on. Last but not least, you want to drizzle a barbecue sauce on there. And there you have it. Barbecue nachos. You can also put, like I said, sour cream. You can sprinkle jalapenos on there. Work it up the way you like it. I'm making it basic this time, so it's going to be easy to travel. Alright, now it's time to get those jars out of that canner. See you back here in a bit. Okay, the pressure canner has naturally depressurized, and she has sit for about 45 minutes. I'm going to take my weight off. Always use a pot holder to take your weight off, because it will be hot. And always undo your lid, opposite sides. Lift the lid away from you so you don't get steam burned. Oh, look at that beautiful canned pulled pork. And there's the first jar coming out of the canner. And I will bring you back as soon as I get her unloaded. And there we have 15 beautiful pint jars of smoky pulled pork, ready to be made into sandwiches, more nachos, mixed with noodles, added to casserole, whatever you would like to do with it. Simple, easy, anybody can do this as long as you follow the directions. Now, what you're going to want to do, of course, leave enough space between them so they'll cool. In 24 hours, check the seals, make sure everyone's sealed. And then, well, after 12 hours, I would check the seals. If any don't seal, all these have sealed because I can tell. But after 12 hours, if they haven't sealed, put them in your fridge and use them within a couple of days. Everything's fine. It's just that your lid failed. And then at the 24-hour mark, give them a nice warm, not hot, but warm bubble bath. Wash the jars and the lids really well. Of course, take your bands off and mark them or label them of what's in the jars and put them on your pantry shelf. Simple, easy, wonderful food. Meat put back because meat's going to get harder to get a hold of. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section below. I will answer them as soon as possible. Everyone, take care. And I want to leave you with something. Hold on just a second. Beautiful, hot, very hot, bubbling pulled pork. Going on the shelves for further use. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. Everyone, take care. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Stay positive, stay safe, You got this. Anybody can do this as long as you have a pressure canner and the ingredients. And like I said, everything will be in the description box below. Everyone take care, and may you each be blessed. I'll see you soon.